In fact, before I say something about the program per se today, uh, I'll just go back in time when I met him for the first time. And believe me, actually, I have just come on posting to this place. I was new and I didn't know much about him. But then, without knowing about him, when I met him, and I think immediately we have started working together. So that was the time, like, it struck me. Like, what has struck me, the vision which he is having. So very few of us at this level who have so many things to do, and that too multi-talented. And I must appreciate, sir, that the thing which you have produced today and what I have seen. And this was a discussion point approximately 1 year back. We have discussed about it regarding marine archaeology, a museum in Sundarban, then a museum hotel in Murshidabad. So all these things, sir, I must appreciate. You have come a long way, and I'll request all the audience to kindly give a big applause. And that too, when you're using the next generation technology, that is artificial intelligence. So, sir, you're way ahead, and I wish you all the best. And I'm sure the effort which you're bringing and putting here will not only will shape the coming time generation technology as well as the way of saying things. That is what you will bring the change. So I wish you all the best, and thank you for inviting me here.
Students. So on the occasion of World Music Day, we have gathered here for the soft launch of an international museum dedicated to the Sundarbans located in the Gosaba Islands. The Sundarbans, dear guests, is not just a place on the map. It is a living classroom, a mangrove forest that breathes, a tiger that watches, and communities that have lived over there for centuries. And right now it has a museum which tells that story. A museum we are proud to have brought to life. A museum which is connected to young, curious, multidisciplinary institution, because that institution becomes something else entirely along with the museum. It becomes a movement. And this is the bridge we want to build today between ILEAD and the Sundarbans Museum. The mangroves have protected us for centuries. It is time we build an ecosystem that protects them back and educates the next generation in the process. This is not just a museum visit. This is ILEAD's invitation to the Sundarbans and the Sundarbans' invitation to the ILEADs. So now we have a video for you to show what ILEAD is actually, an institution which celebrates experiential learning and gives you a glimpse into reuse, reduce and recycle. Also at our upcoming eco resort in the Sundarbans, Anekant. So ladies and gentlemen, here we have a glimpse of ILEAD campus and its extraordinary activities. Mr. Probir Mohapatra, the President of the Tagore Society of Medinipur. Sir, we would request you to come on stage and accept our humble token of appreciation. Dignitary for the evening, Mr. Shayantan Kanjilal, who is the grandson of Padma Shri Tushar Kanjilal. Sir, we would like you to come up on stage for a small token of appreciation. Can we have a round of applause for all our three dignitaries who've taken out time to be with us on this evening? Thank you, ma'am. And to take the evening forward, I will hand it over to our chairman, Shri Pradeep Chopra. Sir, the stage is all yours.
To this event which we are organizing on the International Museum Day. We are launching our soft launch of our almost 80% complete museum project in Sundarban. You see, when I first time went to Sundarban, I found that there are many aspects to Sundarbans which are not known. For instance, the contribution made by several British officers who went to Sundarban, like mapping of Sundarban, or building kind of a list of all the fauna and flora, and many such things. Sundarban incidentally was also used during 1971 war by the Mukti Bahini. Sundarban has very large number of tribals. Sundarban also have archaeological finds which goes back to almost Mauryan age. There is a Mauryan pottery which is found in Sundarban. There is a Gupta period remnants which are found. There are 10,000.
Murshidabad then stood at the center of power and prosperity in Bengal. It was the capital of undivided Bengal and one of the richest regions of the Mughal Empire. It became a major center of trade, banking, silk, culture, and political influence. The Sheherwali families who settled here became an important part of this world. Over generations, they developed a distinctive lifestyle that combined their Rajasthani Jain roots with the cultural refinement of Murshidabad. Their food, language, dress, customs, household traditions, business culture, and social life became unique. This was not simply a continuation of Rajasthan, and it was not simply an adoption of Bengal. It became a separate and refined cultural identity, the Sheherwali way of life. After the Battle of Plassey in 1757, Murshidabad's political and economic importance gradually declined, while Calcutta became the new center of British power in eastern India. With this change, many aspects of Murshidabad's older heritage began to fade from public memory. House of Sheherwali has been created to preserve this legacy. The property functions as a museum where guests can stay. Each room is named after a prominent Sheherwali family or personality. The rooms display heirlooms, furniture, artifacts, photographs, and written information connected to the history of these families and the community. In this way, every room becomes part of the museum experience. Guests do not only see the heritage of the Sheherwalis, they live within spaces designed to introduce that heritage with dignity and context. The corridors also display collectibles and objects from the period, along with descriptions that explain their use and historical importance. These displays help visitors understand the daily life, taste, refinement, and material culture of the Sheherwali community. The restaurant at House of Sheherwali is designed around the theme of boats, reflecting the riverine history of Murshidabad. The Bhagirathi was once central to movement, trade, pilgrimage, and cultural exchange in the region. The boat-themed restaurant connects the guest experience to this important part of Murshidabad's past. Food is another major part of the Sheherwali story. Sheherwali cuisine is a rare vegetarian tradition shaped by Jain principles, Rajasthani roots, Bengali ingredients, and the refined hospitality culture of Murshidabad. At House of Sheherwali, cuisine becomes part of the heritage experience. House of Sheherwali also creates direct local impact and boat rides, making it a meaningful destination for those who want to explore Azimganj, Murshidabad, and the wider heritage of the region. House of Sheherwali invites visitors to experience Murshidabad not only as a historic city, but as a living center of heritage. House of Sheherwali, a museum where you can stay.
There are many things. So I thought when a proposal came from Tagore Society, who had built a building to make a museum, we took that opportunity and we started building a museum. And we wanted to use our skill of artificial intelligence filmmaking, virtual reality and augmented reality. So you don't normally see a lion or a tiger when you go to the forest. It's rarely seen. But in our museum, you'll see it every day. And you'll actually see tiger coming near you. And you can't find whether it's a real or imaginary tiger because it's 3D projection. Yeah, and you'll actually be scared in that night of forest where you'll be surrounded by all these kind of, animals. And I'll just show you a film which we have made recently, also there once. This is a special tiger which can swim up to 30 kilometers in water. Can you imagine? It can climb a tree. No tiger found like this anywhere else in the world. So you have dolphins. I've seen dolphins, Sundarban water. So they are very interesting things. So I thought, and you see museum, when I was a child, I used to go to all the museums because it was such a fun learning through museums. My grandson does the same thing. He loves going to museum. I used to go to Birla Museum for Science and Technology. I used to go to Indian Museum to find anthropology and archaeology. I used to go to, Dolls Museum, first time I went to London. London has so many museums, and you will find every museum with school children in the row, because they all love to learn through experiential learning. And therefore, when we thought that we were to take our students for field trips, why not make them stay in a museum hotel? Where they stay in a museum, our tagline is a museum where you can stay. Guys, it's not a hotel, it is actually a museum. You have an opportunity, and when you stay in a museum, you sleep on an antique bed, which has a history of 300 years. When you sit on a chair, which has a history of 200 years, it's a different feeling altogether. I'll tell you, first time when I went to London, I actually discovered that Mr. Rajendra Sethia, was one of the richest guy, had bought a Napoleon's chair. So I had a friend working there, and I asked him, can I see it? He said, yeah, Mr. Sethia is not here, come. So I went to see, and I saw a very ugly looking black hardwood chair. And I said, can I sit and have a photograph? He said, yeah, you can do that. When I sat, it was very uncomfortable. But it was Napoleon's chair. Yeah, certain items. Yeah, so we said we'll make a museum which will not only depict the history of this place, which was a glorious history of Azimganj, whether it's a food, whether it's a furniture, whether it's stories, but we'll also make sure that when the children comes, they are taken in that past era, like a time machine. You go back and you experience, when you come out, you see, okay, I have actually visited that period and come out. So I'll just show you a film, which is also a museum of sustainability, as you heard. And so what up? So just see the film. We have used at some places artificial intelligence. Many places it's actually real shots. You will be able to make out. But it's easy to tell the stories, dating the past and so on. And so we'll show you first our film on our museum hotel in Azimganj.
In Azimganj, Murshidabad, on the banks of the Bhagirathi, stands House of Sheherwali, a museum hotel created to preserve the heritage of one of Bengal's most distinctive communities. House of Sheherwali has been developed as an history, culture and sustainability within one carefully designed destination. Sundarbans is the largest mangrove forest system on earth. At the lower edge of West Bengal, river water meets the Bay of Bengal, and one of the most unusual wildernesses in the world begins. A tidal maze of islands, mudflats, mangrove forest, and swimming tigers. Twice a day, the tide floods the forest floor. When the water retreats, it leaves behind wet mud, exposed roots, and animal tracks. A creek that carries a boat at high tide can become a stretch of mud hours later. In West Bengal, the Sundarbans Biosphere Reserve covers about 9,630 square kilometers. The Sundarban Tiger Reserve covers about 2,585 square kilometers, with Sundarbans National Park at its core. In 1987, the national park was recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage, one of India's most demanding habitats to manage. The name Sundarbans is often linked to the Sundari tree, Heritiera fomes, once one of the defining trees of the region. But the mangrove forest here includes many species: Sundari, Kiora, Goran, Bain, Jenwa, Hental, Khalsi, Kankra, Golpata, and others. The trees survive with adaptations that are dramatic. Many mangroves grow pneumatophores, narrow breathing roots that rise above the mud to take in air. Some use stilt roots for anchorage, some filter salt at the root, some push excess salt out through their leaves. In some species, the young propagule develops while still attached to the parent tree, then drops into the mud or floats away with the tide. The waterways also hold mammals that many visitors never expect to see in a forest. Gangetic dolphins, Irrawaddy dolphins, and finless porpoises surface in the channels. Their presence makes it clear that the Sundarbans is not only a mangrove forest, it is a living estuary. The tiger of Sundarbans is one of the most unusual tiger populations in the world. These tigers swim across tidal creeks, move through mangrove cover, and hunt in terrain that changes every day. Their diet can include cheetal, wild boar, fish, crabs, and water monitors. This is a tiger population adapted to water in a way few people imagine when they think of big cats. Camera trap monitoring estimated 101 tigers in the Sundarbans in 2022. Getting that number is not simple. Cameras have to be placed and maintained in mud, humidity, salt air, tidal access, and dense mangrove cover. Every clear image matters because this is one of the hardest tiger landscapes in India to survey. The tiger has also shaped how people think about Sundarbans. For visitors, it is the great attraction. For forest workers, it is a danger that has to be respected. For conservation, it is an umbrella species. Protect the tiger's habitat and much of the mangrove ecosystem benefits with it. Around 4.5 million people live across the Sundarbans landscape in West Bengal. The population includes Bengali farming and fishing communities, along with Adivasi groups such as Munda, Santal, Oraon, and others. Honey collection is one of the most dramatic livelihoods in Sundarbans. The Moolis, or honey collectors, enter the forest during the flowering season, when bees build large hives in the mangroves. This work is often learned across generations. Collectors travel by boat, track bee movement. Bee attacks can be severe. A disturbed hive can turn the air into a swarm within seconds. The honey is valuable not only because of its flavor, but because of the skill and danger involved in gathering it. Safer apiary models near the forest edge now allow bees to forage in mangrove areas, while reducing the need for some collectors to enter deeper forest zones. Before entering the forest, many workers invoke Bonbibi. Her worship cuts across religious lines and is especially important to people whose livelihoods take them into the mangroves. The Bonbibi stories include Duke, the poor boy protected by the forest mother, and Dakshin Rai, the powerful tiger-associated presence. At the center of the tradition is a practical moral idea: enter with need, not greed. Sajnikali is one of the key visitor centers in Sundarbans. The Mangrove Interpretation Center explains the biology of the forest, including roots, tides, and mangrove adaptations. The watchtower gives access to birding and wetland views. The Crocodile Pond and Northern River terrapin conservation work help widen the story beyond the tiger. The Bay of Bengal sends severe cyclones toward this coastline. Sundarbans is one of the first natural barriers in their path. Mangroves reduce wave energy, slow storm surge, hold sediment, and help protect settlements further inland. They do not replace embankments, early warning systems, or disaster planning, but they are a vital layer of coastal defense. Cyclones such as Aila, Amphan, and Yas are remembered in Sundarbans for their aftermath as much as their wind. Salt water entered ponds and fields, embankments broke, houses were damaged, crops failed, families rebuilt with debt and labor. Recovery in a tidal delta is rarely quick because a single storm can damage water, soil, housing, and income at the same time. Climate pressure is increasing. Salinity is rising in many areas. Storm surges are becoming more destructive. Riverbanks continue to erode. Heat and rainfall patterns are changing. Some islands and banks have eroded severely, while other areas are reshaped by sediment and tide. A globally important mangrove forest, a rare tiger habitat, a major coastal shield, and a region where millions of people live close to environmental risk. Sundarbans is a treasure trove of adaptation. Trees breathe through mud, fish climb onto land, crocodiles hunt in tidal channels, dolphins surface inside forest waterways, bees build honey in mangrove bloom, tigers swim from island to island. The question is no longer whether this place is extraordinary. The question is whether we are serious enough to protect what makes it so.
Now we'll show you the film of